In the dead of night, something moves across the sky. Silent, invisible, unstoppable. No radar can see it, no missile can lock onto it. And yet, if it wanted to, it could erase an entire city before anyone even knew it was there. This is the B-2 Spirit, America's $2 billion invisible bomber, the most expensive aircraft ever built, and arguably the most mysterious. At a glance, it doesn't even look like a plane. No tail, no fuselage, just a black wing slicing through the air like a shadow. A 170-foot wide ghost that somehow defies radar, gravity, and logic itself. But here's the question that changed military history. How do you make something that big disappear? Today we're uncovering how the United States built an aircraft so advanced. It looks like they got it straight from Star Wars, from its secret Cold War origins, to the wild engineering breakthroughs that make it nearly invisible. This is the story of the bomber that was never meant to be seen. The year is 1975. The Cold War has gone from silent tension to a near breaking point. A world split in two, where every shadow hides a secret, and every radar ping could be the start of the end. High above, American B-52 bombers patrol the skies, each one capable of turning entire cities into ash. They were America's insurance policy, a constant reminder that if the Soviets ever launched a strike, there would be consequences. But as Soviet radar and missile systems advanced, that insurance started to look flimsy. These massive bombers, the pride of American air power, were suddenly too easy to spot. Sending one into enemy territory was disastrous. One general even said it would be like throwing a rock at a hornet's nest while wearing a bright red target on your chest. So, the US needed something new. Not louder, not faster, but quieter. A bomber that didn't announce itself, one that slipped through the sky like a ghost. That challenge became the Advanced Technology Bomber Program, the ATB. Its goal was simple to state, but almost impossible to achieve. Build a plane so stealthy it could fly through Soviet airspace without being seen, heard, or tracked. But here's the twist, this new idea wasn't new at all. The blueprint had been drawn decades earlier by a man named Jack Northrop, a visionary engineer who believed that the perfect aircraft was all wing and nothing else. No fuselage, no tail, just one smooth aerodynamic shape that could slice through the air with almost no drag. In 1947, his radical dream actually took flight, the YB-49 Flying Wing, a massive jet-powered aircraft that looked like something ripped straight from a sci-fi comic. It was elegant, efficient, decades ahead of its time. There was just one problem. It was nearly impossible to control. Without modern computers to keep it stable, the YB-49 wobbled through the air like a drunk kite. The Air Force scrapped the project and ordered every prototype destroyed. Jack Northrop was crushed, his life's work gone. Fast forward 30 years, the world is once again desperate for a plane that can't be seen. The Pentagon reopens its secret files, and whose name do they find buried in the archives? Jack Northrop's. His flying wing concept, once dismissed as too wild, was suddenly the perfect solution for the stealth era. In 1978, Northrop's company was chosen to lead the new bomber project. And in a poetic twist of fate, the same idea that died in the 1940s was reborn under the same name, Northrop. But this time, the stars aligned. Advanced computers, radar-absorbing materials, and a blank check from the Pentagon. Suddenly, that impossible dream, an invisible bomber, wasn't fantasy anymore. It was a deadline. So now the challenge was simple to say, but nearly impossible to solve. How do you take a 170-foot wide flying fortress and make it disappear? Well, let me tell you. They started with the same radical shape Jack Northrop had dreamed up decades earlier, the flying wing. No fuselage, no tail, just one continuous sweep of carbon black curves. Every inch of that shape had a purpose. Traditional planes bounce radar signals everywhere, off the nose, the tail, the engines. But the B-2? It sends those waves away from the radar instead of back at it. That means on a radar screen, a B-2 doesn't look like a bomber, it looks like nothing. And then there's the skin, the secret sauce. The entire surface is coated in radar-absorbent material, or RAM. It's not paint, it's basically a cloak. Radar energy that hits it doesn't bounce back, it gets swallowed. Think of it like a 170-foot wide sponge for radio waves. Even the seams and bolts were hidden. Because a single exposed screw could reflect radar and blow its cover, the precision needed to build one was insane. Engineers joked it was closer to watchmaking than aircraft construction, but the real trick wasn't just hiding from radar, it was flying. Flying wings, as history proved, are notoriously unstable. Without a tail, they don't balance well. So, to keep the B-2 steady, Northrop built one of the most advanced computer systems of its time, a fly-by-wire network making constant invisible adjustments hundreds of times per second. The result? A plane that feels alive. One that practically thinks its way through turbulence, adjusts itself mid-flight, and stays invisible while doing it. Even the engines were hidden. Instead of hanging under the wings like every other jet, they're buried inside the body. The intakes sit on top, so radar can't see the spinning fans. The exhaust is cooled and spread out to mask the heat signature, meaning not even infrared sensors can easily find it. And when the world finally got a look at it in 1988, jaws hit the floor. Because disappearing was only half the story. Hidden beneath its smooth black shell is a weapons bay that can carry 40,000 pounds of firepower. That's like loading 10 family cars worth of bombs into one flying wing. It can deliver everything from precision-guided munitions to nuclear payloads, hitting 80 separate targets in a single mission. Think about that. A plane you can barely see capable of rewriting the map before anyone even knows it's there? And it doesn't need a nearby base either, with a range of over 6,000 miles on one tank, or virtually unlimited distance with mid-air refueling. The B-2 can take off from Missouri, hit a target on the other side of the planet, and come home without ever being spotted. Its cruising speed about 560 miles per hour, just shy of the speed of sound. But that's intentional. The B-2 isn't meant to race across the sky. It's designed to glide through it, quiet, unseen, like a shadow crossing the clouds. It can soar at 50,000 feet, nearly twice the height of Mount Everest, surveying the world from a place where radar barely reaches. And here's the wild part. It takes just 2 people to fly it, a pilot and a mission commander. Inside that cockpit, 1980s computers so advanced they were still classified decades later. Their job isn't just flying, it's managing a living ecosystem of systems, navigation, weapons, stealth, electronic warfare, all working together like organs in a single creature. And what's terrifying? You never see it coming. Radar doesn't catch it, infrared barely notices it. Even the human eye often can't spot it until it's already overhead, and by then, it's gone. But here's where things get complicated, because nothing about this aircraft comes cheap, especially not the maintenance. Each B-2 Spirit costs around $2 billion, making it not just the most expensive aircraft ever built, but one of the most valuable machines in human history. To put that in perspective, you could buy 5,000 American homes for the price of one bomber. So why spend that much money on a plane nobody ever sees? Well, because the United States spends more on its military than every other country combined. And all that money has to go somewhere. And honestly, it might as well go into one of the coolest pieces of machinery ever built. But make no mistake, owning a B-2 is like owning a spaceship that constantly needs a spa day. Every inch of its surface, every sensor, every bolt engineered for stealth. That radar-absorbent coating, it has to be reapplied by hand. Sometimes it takes an entire week of prep work just to get one ready for a single flight. And with that price tag, only 21 were ever built. Just a handful are flight ready at any given time. But that's changing soon, with 28 more announced for production. Even with just 21, those few are enough to project power across the globe, silently. And even after 30 years in service, the Spirit is still evolving. Constant upgrades, new computers, improved radar, updated stealth materials. Still as relevant today as the day it rolled out in 1988. But every legend eventually meets its successor. And that's where the B-21 Raider comes in. Smaller, cheaper, smarter. Designed to strike from the shadows and connect seamlessly with satellites, drones, and AI-driven command systems. It's the next Ghost, rising from the old one's wings. But even as the B-21 takes shape, the B-2's legacy remains unmatched. In the end, the B-2 Spirit isn't just a bomber. It's what happens when you give engineers an unlimited budget and a near impossible dream. A 172-foot ghost that costs more than a small country. Built not for show, but for silence. So, what do you think? Is the B-2 the most impressive aircraft ever built? Or do you have another favorite? Let us know down below. And if you love uncovering the hidden stories behind the world's most ambitious engineering mega projects, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and stay tuned.